this juncture to invite the XENO Investment Management team. They will be represented by the captain to present the fund manager's report for the period for the year 2025, and this will be presented to the unit holders. Mr. Kamara, you're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, all. I'm John Kamara. I'm the country manager, and I'll be presenting the fund manager's report. This report will cover three main areas. One, I'll give you a sneak peek of the macroeconomic environment. Two, I'll show you the summarized audited accounts for the year 2025. And three, I'll walk you through the investment performance of our funds. But first, allow me to introduce the executive team at XENO that delivered the numbers I'm about to present. In no particular order, we have Victor Kakama. He's our Chief Technology Officer. We have Mr. Timothy Aine. He's in charge of investor relations. We have Ms. Nakango Esther, Head of Investment Advisory. We have Ms. Anisha Birungi, Head of Customer Success. We also have the Chief Product Officer, Nakaka Arthur. And we also have Brian Ongodia, Head of Risk and Compliance. I think I've not seen him in the room, but he's with us virtually. So that is the executive team that delivered the results you're about to see. Now, over to the report. Okay. So, Uganda delivered one of its strongest years of GDP growth at about 5%. Inflation was anchored well below 4%, and the shilling was rated one of the most stable currencies on the African continent. This was the environment through which our funds were invested, and we positioned ourselves accordingly to deliver the results. Inflation has been well controlled over the last 2 years, and there's lots of credit to the policy managers at the central bank, and the currency has been relatively strong despite global uncertainty, despite election fever we had last year, and despite political uncertainty which hovers over this region. In contradiction to the stable environment, interest rates stayed quite high throughout the period, but this year we've seen a sharp re-rating, and rates have since come much lower in 2026. Now I'll take you through a high-level summary of our audited accounts of the unit trust funds, and later you'll hear the auditor's opinion on it right here on this stage. Just a note, these full audited accounts are posted on the XENO website. You have all been sent the link. Please download a copy and review this report in detail. Before I go through these numbers, allow me to recap the 4 investment funds we manage. One is the XENO Uganda Money Market Fund. This is actually Uganda's largest money market fund, and it has been designed to invest in highly liquid, short-term debt instruments. Second, we have the XENO Uganda Bond Fund. This fund was designed to provide exposure to high-quality, long-term debt investments. And lastly, our 2 equity funds, the XENO Uganda Domestic Equity Fund, the XENO Uganda Regional Equity Fund, are pure equity funds, and we designed them to give investors exposure to listed companies across East Africa. All these 4 funds are tax-exempt unit trust funds licensed by Capital Markets Authority. I'll move on to the summary of the audited accounts. First, the money market fund. It had assets of 16 billion shillings, up from 12 billion shillings the previous year, and that fund recorded total income of 1.6 billion, up from 1 billion in the previous year. On to the XENO Uganda Bond Fund. The biggest fund we manage had total assets of 76 billion, at the end of 2025, up from 60 billion the previous year. And the income this fund recorded was 8 billion shillings, up from 6 billion shillings the previous year. On to our equity funds, the XENO Uganda Domestic Equity Fund had total assets of 1.6 billion as at the end of the year, up from 1.2 billion the previous year. And it recorded total income of 317 million, down from 333 million in the previous year, 2024. Lastly, the XENO Uganda Regional Equity Fund had total assets of 3.3 billion, up from 2.2 billion last year, and total income was 836 million, up from 506 million. Now, for the final part of this presentation, I will show you how this investment performance, the investment performance that came from the audited accounts we've looked at. We begin with the 4 funds in this identical order. The XENO Uganda Money Market Fund received inflows of 14 billion shillings during the year. Its profit grew 65% over that same period to 1.6 billion. Now, being a fixed income strategy, we measure and report this fund's performance as a yield. This yield for the fund averaged 13.4% during the year, clearly ahead of its benchmark, which is the 91-day Treasury bill. Next, we have the XENO Uganda Bond Fund. This fund received inflows of 58 billion throughout the year, and its profit grew 42% to land at 8.6 billion shillings. Being a fixed income strategy as well, we have to measure and report this fund's performance as a yield. So we are happy to report this fund achieved a record yield of 16.5% during the year, well ahead of its benchmark of the 5-year bond. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over to our equity investment strategies. This is where the performance gets really exciting. Our domestic equity fund received inflows of 1 billion shillings across the year and reported a 300 million profit, down slightly from last year. Now, this fund's holding period return was 34.5% during the year. Now, unit holders, what does a holding period return mean? This simply means that for every 1 million shillings that was invested in this fund as at 1st January 2025 through to 31st December 2025, turned into 1.34 million shillings. This fund has outperformed the general stock market on a 1, 3, and a 5-year basis, ladies and gentlemen. Our last equity strategy, the XENO Uganda Regional Equity Fund, which invests in listed companies across East Africa, received inflows of 2 billion shillings, reported an 800 million profit, up 65% from last year. Now, this fund achieved a holding period return of 45% during the year, its best year yet. I mentioned yet because the team you saw that I introduced earlier has promised to try and top this every other year. What does this mean? It simply means that every 1 million shillings that was invested as at 1st January through to 31st December has turned into 1.45 million shillings. Unit holders, it's important to note that although the Uganda Regional Equity Fund is reported in Uganda shillings, it holds assets denominated in a variety of regional currencies, largely the Kenyan shilling. So lastly, ladies and gentlemen, although we present to you the fund performance separately, we do not invest your savings in just one fund, a decision that would likely be driven by bias, sentiment, or recent performance. What we do is we take some or all of the funds we've looked at, construct a diversified portfolio for you that would suit your particular goals. Not only is this our philosophy to diversify your investments, it is the most prudent thing to do. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, your unit trust funds delivered an aggregated profit of 11.4 billion shillings, up 44% from the previous year. And I'll leave you with this note. That 11 billion shilling profit is not just ink on a ledger. This represents actual progress thousands of personalized financial goals have made towards achieving what they set out to do. I thank you all. Cheers and good day. Thank you, Chair.